Hey guys, this is Steve with Mod in Japan, and next to me we have our MIJ GR86, and today we talk about Cusco and the role they played in the build of our GR86 for SEMA show. If you're a fan of JDM vehicles and have been building them for a while, then Cusco is a household name that you would know. Cusco is a brand that's made in Japan, and they focus primarily on racing products. And they have a long heritage in both racing and motorsports in Japan as well as the US. On our GR86, we decided that we wanted to go with authentic Japanese brands that we felt would reflect the country of Japan well, but also serves the purpose of using only functional parts on this car. One of which is the tow hook. Now, there are a lot of tow hooks on the market, and you could probably find some inexpensive ones on eBay or on Amazon. But what's really important is that tow hooks actually serve a purpose other than aesthetics. If you're going to be road racing or drifting or doing anything motorsports related, one of these days you may have a situation. And in that situation, you need to be towed out. And the difference between Cusco and something that you're going to find on the internet for cheap is that the Cusco tow hook is actually functional. If you need to get pulled out of kitty litter in a road racing situation, this tow hook actually serves that purpose. So making sure that you buy the right product for the right reason is incredibly important. And Cusco is one of those brands that have been around long enough with enough pedigree and heritage that this will absolutely work when you need it to work. One of the most overlooked mods on a car that looks like it's for aesthetics only is chassis rigidity. So we went with a Cusco front strut bar. If you look at any OEM vehicle manufacturer that builds race cars from the factory, and you look at the chassis from the top and the bottom, you're going to find that every position of the chassis that could be buttoned together for chassis rigidity purposes is going to be done that way. So if you look at something like a GTR or a 911, you'll see a lot of chassis bracing even from the factory. The reason why chassis bracing is so important is under load, when you're on a road racing situation, the chassis is flexing. So you basically want to make sure that the suspension is handling consistently across all four corners, and you achieve that by having chassis braces. So even though it looks like it's just an aesthetic thing and it's not that expensive, it's really, really important. But I do want to note that just having a front strut bar won't do it. The purpose of chassis rigidity is making the entire chassis rigid. So it's really important to find brands like Cusco that make a lot of components that tie up both the visible portion of the chassis and the bottom of the chassis. Even though it's not visible, that bottom chassis bracketing and that chassis support is incredibly important and one of the best bang for your buck modifications you can do on your car and your build. Now, one thing that's really important to note is if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. There's going to be a lot of strut bars out there that are very inexpensive and look very similar to this, and maybe it does the part in your mind. But what you pay for is what you get. And when you get a made in Japan product like this, the metal actually is stiff and strong enough to be able to support the chassis and prevent that flex. So it's really important that when you make your decision on chassis bracing, that you pick a brand, namely brands like Cusco, that actually do the job that it's stated to do. Because even though it could look like this, if they're using cheaper metals, it doesn't really make this chassis more rigid if it's flexing along with the chassis. So picking and choosing the brand that you want to go with that has a good history and heritage is just as important as doing the modification itself. Two last things, just in case we spin out and you can't tow hook it from the front, we also have a Cusco tow hook in the rear. We have also one more modification that we'll talk about later, which is the rear bumper support. They have a weight-saving, weight reduction mod for that, but we'll do that in a future video when we get a chance to weigh it and do the installation on it. Again, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about any Cusco products for the GR86, let us know in the comments below. If you'd like to buy any of these mods or anything else that Cusco offers for the GR86, we'll have a whole list of products in the description below for your use. If you like this video, please think about supporting us by commenting, and subscribing, just so that we know you want more videos like this. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.